This
Let's
this
be
this
frank.
was this is a game of all time.
Yeah.
We definitely will. If you're watching and you see how long this is, this was a game that was played. Turns of Magic were taken, but it was not much after that.
Say,
Does Soul Ring ruin games? Question mark.
yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
Um,
I'll tell you what though, if I was doing that in like a constructed format, I'd be having the best time ever. But that felt kind of dirty. I'm not gonna lie. That was a little bit gross.
Yeah. Exile an entire player off the board in
It's
one
just,
turn.
I mean, I probably could have exiled everyone off the board if Peyton didn't have one of those darn protection
interaction
spells.
pieces.
Yeah, don't do that. Stop it.
Yeah, it just kind of prolonged the game for nothing. But you know, I I don't know. I think it obviously brings up the conversation of like, is Soul Ring bannable? Is Soul Ring too strong? I think obviously that is what came up post to that game immediately was our play group saying, do we get rid of this card because it's ruined a game? To be fair, I don't think. Sorry, really loud. I don't think it's the first game that Soul Ring is necessarily ruined, but it's the first one it's ruined on the channel. So
In the
Hold
name.
up. You don't need to kill people if you just exile all of their stuff. The game just kind of ends.
they just give up.
Yeah, just ruin your friends' hopes and dreams and never let them have fun.
I don't think I've ever wanted to rip up all of my Magic cards more than that game. It was brutal. I was just sitting there. I was like looking at my other monitor on Steam, like, oh, what game could I play right now? so I'm not
Yeah,
just bored.
I think the thing I'm most concerned about in terms of like, oh, like Soul Ring's just too strong, like get rid of it, is that Soul Ring is only that strong turn 1, right? So like turn 6 when you draw Soul Ring, it's not that
it's
it
like
doesn't
fine. It's like
it's never a
accelerating, but
bad
it's not
card.
like,
It's never a bad card,
Yeah.
right? Because it's always mana positive. I'm not saying it's, but turn 6, it's like it's upping my storm count, and again, it's mana positive. Maybe it has some synergy with like you have artifact synergy or something, but for the most part, it's only that good turn 1. So I think the idea that like, you know, people always like scoff at the turn 1 Soul Ring, but that's what it's designed to do, right? It's the Chrome Mox of more casual brackets, right? Like in CDH, you play Chrome Mox because you hope you draw it early. You don't play Chrome Mox because you hope you get it turn 7. There's not a turn 7 in CDH, but you know what I mean? Like, so I think, is it inherently wrong to ban a card for what it's supposed to do, essentially, right? Like, you don't run Soul Ring because you're hoping to draw it turn 7. You don't run Rampant Growth because you're hoping to draw it turn 7. You want Rampant Growth turn 2. That's why you have, 6 copies of 2 mana ramp in your deck, because you're hoping one of them is in your opening hand. So when Soul Ring is in your opening hand,
another one.
what?
And then you don't see it. You want to see one all game, and like that's it. Like you
Right.
really don't want to see anything beyond that.
And I think Soul Ring's the same kind of argument. Like you want to see Soul Ring in your opening hand because it's a great start, but outside of that, you're not. Again, it's never a bad draw. It's not like, oh shit, let me, I'll pitch this to the graveyard. Like, it's always, you always cast it, you always want it, but it's not. It turns a turn 3 Soul Ring doesn't even have the same like oomph as like a turn 1 Soul Ring, and we saw that just the game prior, right? Nassim cast it turn 2, and it just felt like, mind you, it helps him get his like 8-7 mana commander out turn 4, but it's not as impactful. And I think, I don't know, it raises the question of like, that's the purpose of the card. So when you ban it for that purpose, it kind of just becomes, I don't know.
Isn't that every card ever that's banned though? Like Dockside, the purpose is to get an insane amount of treasures off one ETB. They banned it because you get an insane amount of treasures off one ETB. That's just the nature of bans. I think we ban the action, not the card. I think turn 1 Soul Ring into another Mana Rock
Sure.
is diabolical.
Right.
I think that's rough.
Right. I mean, that's definitely the, like, turn 1 Soul Ring is great. Turn 1 Soul Ring into like another Mana Rock is just, that's the acceleration that's like beyond, because that's something that even like a Chrome Mox can even struggle to do, and Chrome Mox is a significantly better card. So like,
Yeah.
Just the fact that it taps for 2 and then accelerates you into another mana rock. Like you have access to so much mana turn 1. You know,
Yeah,
that's
5 mana on turn 2 is insane.
that's basically like a CDH start, right? So like, is that a little strong? And as a channel, can we probably look at that more than just banning Soul Ring outright? I think for sure. But I know a lot of play groups that ban Soul Ring or don't like Soul Ring or think that Soul Ring is like a bannable card. But I mean, I like that you brought Dockside up because I think it highlights the contradictions of bans that they currently have.
I think the difference with Dockside though is like, yes, the turn 1 Soul Ring is really good. Like, it accelerates you, it gets you a lot of mana over the course of the games. Like, say you play for 7 turns, you've added basically an extra 14 mana. But like Dockside, there's just so many ways to abuse it in such a way that's just like absolutely disgusting. Like, you like Displacer Kitten, if you have ways to flicker it, bounce it, like loop things over and over. Like, you like Dockside outpaces Soul Ring in terms of mana production, unless you're doing some like really weird kind of combos. So like, I don't like Dockside and Soul Ring is a comparable comparison to each other, just because like Dockside just gives you such a burst to go, whereas you basically get an extra 2 mana every turn instead of getting like 1 turn of getting 8 mana. Like, there's a big disparity, I feel like, between the two.
I wasn't comparing them. I was just saying you can't ban a card for what a card.
Yes.
The only reason to ban a card is to ban a card for what it does, for what it's made
Yeah.
for. So I was saying Payne said something dumb. That's all I said.
No, I'm saying the same thing. Like, Soul Ring is designed to, like, you want it turn 1. You don't want it turn 7. Again, it's never a bad card, but it's not just like how, like, when you draw Rampant Growth turn 4, you're kind of like, I mean, I'm not mad, I'm going to cast it anyway, but I would have loved this 2 turns early if you didn't have 2 mana ramp earlier, right? You kind of like, this is 2 turns too late. Same thing with Soul Ring. Soul Ring turn 2 is like 1 turn too late.
Right.
So like, again, it's never bad, and you're always mana positive, but it's still just like, so I think to ban a card, and I agree, like Dockside, to ban a card for what it does is kind of, I don't agree with the Dockside ban, to be honest, but you know, I can see a world where it was getting abused. Like Dan said, there's ways to make it a much more broken card than a Soul Ring, but I just think, like I said, there's a disparity between what and that's, Commander is a casual format, right? Meaning that you don't ban cards for balance. You don't ban cards like Standard and Modern ban like Monstrous Rage because they're taking over the meta. They're really good cards. They warp the format to everyone has. If you're not playing Monstrous Rage, then you're losing. And I think that is, Commander is inherently not that kind of format. They're not banning for balance. They're not banning for, how do we make every deck just as viable, right? There's too many cards, there's too many variables involved, like you can't do it. So they instead were banning, right? They were banning for like what cards affect the game in such a negative way that we just don't like it, right? So like Hull Breacher is like a great example of that. Like, that just makes for an unfun game to play. And I think that's why it got banned. Nadu is a great example. Like, Nadu's not doing anything that's like unheard of, right? It's an effect that has been done in other ways. You can essentially build Nadu effects with like multiple other cards, but having it on one card in the command zone just made for an unfun game. As soon as Nadu was cast, it was the Nadu player gets, to take 20 actions for every 1 action that somebody else takes. Just makes for an unfun game. It's not the
like
most broken commander ever.
You like, I forgot who it was, but I was listening to someone talk about Nadu. It was like, the Nadu player like tries to do their thing and they whiff and they're just left with like 20 permanents, and everyone else is like, okay, cool, this is turn 5 or turn like 4. Let me untap my 4 lands and my like Arcane Signet. It's like, it makes a lot of sense. Like, they, it's for the enjoyment of the game, which I think is why they wouldn't ban Soul Ring. Would be my guess, is just like the fun side of it, like of having those explosive sets, of having the turn 1 Soul Ring, maybe not into a Signet, but like just having the Soul Ring and having that little bit of a leg up. And then it makes it a little bit more interesting when you're like the enemy. Everyone's like, oh, turn 1 Soul Ring, like we got to deal with this person. So like, I find that kind of like a cool interaction where like, sure, you're getting an advantage, but like you're also getting you're getting the hate of the table. Like, you've got 3 other people now looking at you saying like, we need to deal with this problem because they're just so much further ahead of us. And not a lot of people are running like Vandal Blast, Ancient Grudge, like early like turn 1, turn 2 kill spells for artifacts. Like that's just not really a big thing. And so like, I think it puts a really interesting dynamic into the game.
I hate it.
Yeah, we know, but you just hate it because I absolutely dunked on you.
All right, look, I'm gonna play Panlaus again. I'm gonna ram you into the ground. That's
All
about
right,
it.
I guess,
let's
do you
see.
run... How many decks do you run Soul Ring in, Tyler? Like, just off the top, you don't... I mean, if you want to look it up, you can.
I
But...
can look, but Aragorn does. Not Aragorn, sorry. Panlaus does, Tella does. I think that's it. I think it's just 2.
So you're just...
Oh,
I guess...
list.
I mean,
It's
sure.
3.
Sure. I just mean, like, on average, you don't put it in most decks, is what you're saying.
No. I try to stay away from it, especially because...
Is there a reason why?
Green. I play a lot of green. That's...
Okay.
I mean, like...
That's fair.
I don't play a lot of artifacts, and...
Sure.
Like, it makes sense in the decks that I play, I guess. Because, like, Tella, I need a lot. It's mana hungry.
Yeah, you need to be casting.
Maza, I guess it's not really like it's a nice thing to get off of Discover Trigger, I guess.
Yeah.
And then
And like,
is like
you just want to go fast. Like you need, you need the speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like in my general decks, I don't ever put it in.
Dan, what about you? How often are you putting it in decks?
After I figure out like the base of the cards I want, it's like the first card I put in my deck. Like every deck, it's like I'll go through like I know I'm an absolute monster, but like I'll have the idea of what the deck's gonna be, and then after I kind of get that like basis, it's like Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, and like whatever talisman fits the colors. But the other thing is like I don't really play a lot of green decks, so like that is like the argument for having Soul Ring is it gives the non-green decks ways to get permanent ramp and permanent catch up to the green players. Because sure, you can play white and you can play like Claim Jumper and Knight of the White or like all of those like catch up ramp cards. But like if you're running Rakdos, it's like I've got Dark Rituals. You got your rituals and that's about it. And that's very temporary. You get treasures, very temporary. Like the soul rings and stuff like that, I feel like is an essential part of not falling behind. Because like, we saw with Nassim, he had like turn 4, he cast what's his fate, Maelstrom, and it's just like how am I supposed to have 4 lands and compete with someone who's now playing an 8 mana commander? Yeah. So that's kind of my argument for not banning it. Is just like we get to a point where it's like the green deck has 15 lands in play, or like Payne does like his open the way shenanigans, and it's like what am I supposed to do as like the Rakdos player, the blue white player, and have interaction there?
To be fair, in that game you were playing a mono green deck.
I totally get that. That's not.
I know what you're saying. If you were playing a non-green deck in that scenario, you're basically looking at that game like I don't even have a chance unless I get my turn 1 Soul Ring, because there's no way you're outpacing that. Yeah,
or like a rock into a Smothering Tithe on like turn 3 and like different things like that. Like that's speaking of Smothering Tithe, Tyler, do you want to tell us how that works again with Windfall?
You're a piece of you're a dirt bag. All right.
Don't Windfall.
You're a dirt grub. You're a dirt grub. I need to like turn a light on. It got really dark.
It's hella dark. No, I think that's valid. I think that's like that was like the biggest gripe for like the Dockside enjoyers, is that they felt like a lot of the red decks in CDH got nerfed because they couldn't keep up with like the other ramp that the other colors have access to, or specifically green sometimes. But red was such or Dockside was such a benefit to red, and getting rid of it kind of makes the color weaker. And I think that probably makes sense when you look at what CDH is doing right now, right? Like all the
it's all cradles and stuff. Like you're really just trying to find your guys' cradles as fast as possible now, instead of like, I mean, like obviously like Atali, but Atali's got cradle. Like there's not a lot of like non-green. At least obviously I don't know as much about CDH. I don't know as much about the meta, but I feel like there's not as much non-green red decks, because the only thing red gives you now is like Breach, and that's about it. Like that's,
usually you're playing with another color to help.
Yeah,
I think the only mono red the only mono red deck that's still viable is Magda, but that's because she creates enough treasures on her own that you don't. I mean, I'm sure you would love a Dockside in that deck, but you're mostly relying on Magda and her stuff to do it. So that's why I think Magda's able to maintain her
still playable.
Yeah, but I think it's just hard. I'm also a Soul Ring in every deck kind of person, so I just think it's notable that Nassim also doesn't put Soul Ring in. I'm pretty sure like most of the decks he plays. I think it's in Maelstrom just because Maelstrom is so big and you need to get it out earlier than possible, as early as possible, and so it makes sense to be in that deck. But I think it's funny because up until that point, like the most common, not the most common, but it was not uncommon for me to have a turn 1 Soul Ring in the group, and like Nassim would comment on it, and it's like, well, of course you notice when I have a turn 1 Soul Ring, you don't play Soul Ring, so you don't have the chance to have a turn 1 Soul Ring. So it's kind of like I don't know what that's called. Is that like a self-fulfilling prophecy? It's like, oh, Peyton always has the turn 1 Soul Ring. Like, well, yeah, I run it.
Like, yeah.
Like, I never have a turn 1 Soul
prophecy,
Ring.
but
You have to put it in the deck in order to do it. So I think, which is fair. Again, if ultimately we come, I think the consensus is so far that we just ban the action of turn 1 Soul Ring into a Mana Rock, not the Soul Ring itself.
So
for content.
as,
I don't for content.
well, like as we're like talking about it, I do have one thing I want to kind of point out or bring up in terms of like that sort of like limiting on like game actions that we can take. Like, you know, my only like the most obvious example is like going like Smothering Tithe into like a wheel.
Mhm.
Like that's like is there, if we start banning things like, oh well, you can't go Soul Ring into Signet on turn 1, is there like a point where we get to like, you know, turn 4 you can't go, or turn 5 you can't go like Smothering Tithe into a wheel, like
That's
those sort of things that like accelerate that's like my, I guess my only gripe, and I'd be curious to know what people as well like out in the wild and watching this kind of have to think about. That is like, what does the actions of like banning um
not banning cards, but
banning
banning
game
the.
actions, yeah, banning game actions and not banning cards, like that's something that it's a very interesting, like I don't know if it's a slippery slope, but it's a really interesting like,
Mhm.
you know, do we get to a point where someone's doing something that's taking over the game in a way, and then we say, oh, well, now you can't do this?
I think that same
I
slippery
think
slope comes with banning cards, right?
Well, I think the two bands, to quote you, Dan, they're fundamentally different in nature. That wasn't a straight quote, but they're not comparative. So one's a turn 1. You're 4 mana up on everybody else, and then the other one is like, oh, you're a couple turns in the game. The boards have developed.
Sure.
Everyone
Yeah,
has a
but
chance. I think that's the
it's turn
difference.
at turn 5 you have 21 extra mana, like you're 21 mana, you are 10
I
and
think
a half soul rings up on everybody else,
Yeah, but
you know.
what turn?
I-
Our games usually end turn 6, like turn 6, turn
in
7.
real life, turn 6,
That's
7
endgame.
on the channel,
Yeah.
we're slightly behind it, like 7, 8, 9. But yeah,
Yeah, but I don't know.
I think
I don't
what
see. I have never once had a problem with like a Ristic Study or a Smothering Tithe or Windfall. It's literally just I hate free interaction and I hate fast mana. Those are the two things I hate most in this game.
Yeah,
The
but
only
none of
things
it's
I
fast,
ever
and it's a soul ring, it's not fast. That's
Soaring
what the
is the
rules committee say.
definition of fast. It's better
That's
because it's mana positive, Dan.
I
Mana
think
technically,
positive.
I think what Dan's saying is that right now you have that feeling. Right now you're like, oh, I don't care because it requires setup to do the Smothering Tithe into a wheel. But at what point does it reach a point where it's like, oh, Dan does Smothering Tithe into a wheel every 3 games?
like, yeah, like if it starts
It's
happening
great for
like a ton.
clips. It's great for shorts. Come on. It's
I
good
mean,
I've-
yes, but but then we get to the point where we maybe have this conversation of like, oh well, I won on turn 4 because I went like turn 2, like Arcane Signet, turn 3 thing, turn 4 wheel, and you guys are like, oh, we didn't get to do anything. And it's like, if actions like that keep happening and things like that keep happening, where it's like, not maybe not the Smothering Tithe wheel thing, but something super broken that just kind of like pushes everyone out of the game, or pushes someone so far ahead that it's just so hard to come back from it. It happens just whether it's me doing it, Pate doing it. It's like, maybe it's not the same person every time, but it's a similar action that keeps happening. Like, do we get to a point where we start saying, oh well, we're going to ban the action of doing this again?
Well, I think
And then do we just start having these sort of conversations more often, where it's like, oh well, you know, we kind of want to ban this action because X.
in the entirety of the time that we all have been playing together, only 2 conversations about banning things are soloing and free interaction. Those are the only 2 things in the entire time I've played with you guys. That was just like almost 3 years to this point. that we have ever talked about those things.
Which
So
is true.
I don't think those scenarios will ever really be a problem because it's never been a problem so far. I don't know.
I just think once you open the floodgate, right? Once you start the conversation of like, oh, let's. Again, I don't think we're going to reach that consensus, but if today we were like, okay, guys, we've banned Soul Ring, take him out of the decks moving forward, no more Soul Ring, I don't think the conversation stops there. I think a new card becomes the target of everyone's ire. It may take a while. I'm not saying it happens like the very next week. It's like, oh, this card I saw this week gone. I just think it starts to become somebody is like, hey, if we're going to be banning cards, let's get rid, and then it potentially, I think we're a slightly more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like cohesive group. Like I think we all are pretty much on the same page as far as like Magic is concerned. So I don't foresee that happening. I just think it is something to be said that like once you ban one card, right, it becomes, and I'm assuming Magic feels the same way, right? Like before the age of banning cards, I imagine the very first one they decided to ban, it was suddenly like, well, if you're going to ban this, then you should do this, because and it starts that thing. And I don't know, maybe people at home can comment about times that they banned one card and it turned into like everyone gets a vote for a card or something, and then it turns into like everyone's cards are being banned. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
We have, except for your Magus deck, I think we put pretty much, and maybe Anala, I don't know, we've pretty much effectively destroyed all free interaction in our games. We typically don't run that, and it's been that way.
Free interaction now just to get you,
Tyler. I can't say that. I can't say that. I will destroy you. I'm
gonna run like the worst version. Like I'm gonna play like blue decks that are running it's the counter spell that you have to pick up 3 islands for, or like foil, where I have to like pitch an island and another card. Like I'm gonna just run like the worst free interaction just to spite you.
Yeah, I have 1 free interaction spell, and that's in my Obnixilis deck, and it's because it came in the secret layer. Payne, you have like Fierce Guardianship and like all that trash in
I have
Magus.
1 copy of Fierce Guardianship.
That's enough. That's enough.
It's in Magus. Sorry.
Yeah, it's only in my like super. It's in my highest power deck.
Yeah, I mean
that's because that's the point of that deck. But everything else, where it's like casual decks, I'm not running.
No, I need to. Sorry.
Yeah,
the deck's designed on
the deck. A good deck builder and a bad deck builder. If that's what you're on your screen, I don't know. Oh, that's Dan's up there.
Dan's up there.
Bad deck. Bad.
The deck is designed to tap out to cast big X spells. I need the opportunity to counter other things, and that's just how it is. I'm sorry.
One land. How about that?
Oh, that's so telegraphed to not tap one. I'm gonna tap out and cast.
So I do every game, even if I don't have anything. I do it just in case.
Right. I'm just trying.
And Nassim's always like, "What lands do you have? 1 blue." And I only run the 1 cost interaction.
That's going to counter a creature spell.
Yeah. I'm gonna Dovin's veto your creature.
Yeah, you've only done it too many times.
I did it last weekend.
I know. It happens all the time. I just think. Yeah. I don't know. I know you hate free interaction. That again, even when. I don't know, when I first came into the group and Nassim was like, hey, by the way, as a group we banned free interaction, so you can't play it. And I was like, oh, I've been playing it in most of my decks. And he was like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't come up that often because it's not... I don't have like 8 copies of free interaction spells in every deck. I have like 1 or 2... I run a ton of blue, but most of the time I'm not running Fierce Guardianship in most of them. I happen to only run Fierce Guardianship in... At the time it was Talion, that was my like control deck that I had. And then it just made sense because it's like if I'm going to play a control deck, I need access to like, I don't know. We've had this conversation before. We don't have to rehash it. That's not the topic of the video, but
next week on the post game of me playing every free interaction,
every interaction spell, Tyler will be back. I want this card banned.
I just think I'm gonna have a list.
The point is that
this commander gone. I want this commander gone.
I just think it's funny that
I'm playing it next week.
That y'all banned free interaction as a group. And then I joined later, and y'all were like, oh, by the way, this is banned. And then I still didn't change. I didn't take it out of any of my decks, and it still hasn't shown up, but like on like 1 or 2 occasions, because it's not happening. Same thing with like a turn 1 Soul Ring, right? I think we have one game where it ruined a game, and I've been in countless other games where a turn 1 Soul Ring isn't really that dramatic, which is what I think our main point is, which is I think the super defining factor was the additional mana rock, not just the turn 1 Soul Ring, right? So I think that's why we're leaning towards, like I said, considering the banning the action of just that more than just banning Soul Ring outright. Because I think that goes into what Dan was saying about turn 1 Soul Ring is kind of Soul Ring in general, not even a turn 1 Soul Ring. Soul Ring in general is kind of the only way for some of these non-green decks to keep up with green decks. So to ban that card outright, I think we're nerfing non-green decks significantly, which, again, as I will point out multiple times, that people will do things and then use that as like confirmation that it doesn't, like Nassim's pro banning Soul Ring because he basically plays green in every deck. So for him, it's not a huge detriment to lose Soul Ring because he's probably not gonna. Same thing with like Tyler, right? Like you basically don't run it in decks that have green because you don't need the Soul Ring to.
That don't have green, I don't run it.
I mean, I know. I'm just saying, like in the few decks you do run it in, it's like a couple non-green decks, and then you are running it in Pantalaza just because it's nice. But it's easy to say like, oh, we can ban Soul Ring, I don't need it when you're playing just green decks, or it's easy to say let's ban Rhystic Study when you're playing, other when you're not worried about card draw in your other decks. But it's like for a blue player, Rhystic Study, Smothering Tithe, all these cards that people like to just ban because they warp games. It's like, I think it's some of the ways that decks keep up with these other, these other decks. So I think Soul Ring's fine as a card.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, if we end up in a position where we're just like, well, no more Soul Ring, it's like, well, now I kind of have to play more green. And I think I imagine a lot of the decks I've played on the channel really haven't had green. Like Reki's had green. But I don't know if I've had many other decks that are like green based. Like green's fine for me, but it's not really the type of style that I like to play. Like I like to play other things, and like, even if it's a turn 4 Soul Ring, it's one extra mana that I get to have for the next few turns, to maybe try and help kind of propel myself ahead as I'm sitting there looking at like turn 1 Rampant Growth or 3 Visits or Nature's Lore into like another like 3 mana of 4 mana Ra and like this and that. So like it is one of those things where I think if there isn't the opportunity for me to draw Soul Ring at any point in the game, it's kind of like I just kind of sit there. I'm like, well, here's my Signet, and then here's my other Signet, and it's like, all right, now it's turn 4, and I've got like 4 mana, or 5 mana, and everyone's already vaulted themselves way far ahead. So.
Yeah. I just wonder if we did, because we're so like, that turn 1 Soul Ring really ruined the game. But how many of our games where we're all playing the like hyper ramp decks are we like, we have 17 mana on turn 4 and like we don't have an issue with that? Somehow right. That feels fair.
Everyone's got like 10 lands, and I'm sitting over here with my Jeskai deck, just like I got 5 mana on turn 2. Granted, it was a very different game in that situation, but.
Right.
That's not the important part.
Because I'm already forgetting. What did you play, Tyler, against the Guff?
Was it Tella? Yeah, it was Tella.
Yep. Yeah, you were going to be screwed regardless. What did Nassim play? Quorum.
Quorum. Yeah, he's on green.
Yeah, so me and Nassim had access to green, so like if anything, I think we would have had like, let's say you just had the turn 1 Soul Ring, no mana rock. I think the game looks way different because I think I was only like a turn away from having.
On turn 2.
I was having a lot more to do earlier on. I think Tyler is probably the only one in that game that struggles because again, non-green in a bunch of ramp or against a bunch of decks that are probably ramping really hard, and you're only ramping because of the turn 1 Soul Ring. So.
I mean, I think the other thing to look at and think in retrospect as well is like the way that the hand, like the planeswalkers themselves are just inherently unfair. Like if you can stick a planeswalker early and people can't put pressure on it, like turns 2, 3, and 4, like if you can stick a planeswalker, it's very hard to kind of come back from that and get out of it, regardless of how much mana I have. Just because you guys like can't attack and pressure it well. Like a lot of the planes, especially in that deck, like I put a lot of the planeswalkers that like make bodies and like make dudes that like protect themselves and protect the other planeswalkers. Like I think if that was any other deck and it has that kind of start, I don't think the game is that oppressive of a game.
One-sided.
I think it's just I think it's specific because like creatures you can kill really easy, you know, enchantments, other stuff like planeswalkers are just really hard to kill because you need to hit them like specifically. And when you start accruing multiple planeswalkers, then it's like which one's the bigger threat, which one's the one that we like need to deal with as fast as possible. So I think like if it was any other deck that like I have or any other deck that any of us have as well, it's like sure I can get my commander out early, but like you guys can kill it, or I can get a couple of more rocks and this and that. But I think just specifically because the hand was like turn 2 Guff, turn 3 Teferi, turn 4 Alta Fairy, like that's just like that's one of those like magical Christmas hand lands that just like works out so well because just no one had any early enough pressure that they could put into it. So I think like any other deck that you guys play, like if I was playing like Sati or something, that hand is it's a good hand, but it's not a like I'm probably playing like Satya turn 2, turn 3 play something that's got like a decent energy production value or an okay ETB, but it's not something that's going to start like actively putting a clock on the game to the point where like you guys need to deal with it or you will not play Magic for the rest of the game. So I think it was just a showing of one of the most hated card types with one of the most hated turn 1 actions.
For sure. Tyler,
Don't do it again.
Yeah,
listen, that deck might have that deck might be retired here
maybe
for a little bit. I'm gonna have to put it in timeout.
Because Tyler, what if you, like I said, off the top of it doesn't, if you can't remember, it's not a big deal. But off the top of your head, in Omnixilus, let's say you have turn 1 into a mana rock. Like, what's the best outcome of that? Like, what do you think you could slap down turn 2 if you have the turn 1 Soul Ring into a mana rock? Is it like win on the spot?
No, I still need another turn.
So you think 3 turns would be?
I need for I need at least a pinger, a mana generator, and Omnixilus out. So I need at least 3 pieces. But perfect, I get Urbrask, which is ping and mana gem.
Right.
So I'd still turn 3 with the Soul Ring Arcane Signet at like the earliest.
Right.
And that's getting lucky. That's getting lucky.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean.
That, like, the top of your deck is really good, like from Urbrask and chaining spells and stuff like that.
Yeah,
sure. That's just what I mean. Like that sounds like kind of what Dan just ran into, right? Like kind of it's not. There's a world where he has that same turn 1 into an or a Signet, and the planeswalkers in his hand don't do what the planeswalkers that he had does, and the game looks way different.
It's like Teo that makes an 0/4 wall when he enters, and like I can let people draw a card. It's just one of those things where like there's enough planeswalkers that are like not, or like it could have been going into like a Comet. Like Comet's good, but I don't think Comet is as backbreaking. Like I'm gonna make some 1/1s, and that's about it.
Because I think
so.
Like I said, it's like that's like the overarching thing is I think Soul Ring doesn't fix the rest of the deck at all, right? Yeah. So like Guff on its best day looks like that, and on its worst day looks a lot worse. Even with the Soul Ring is what I mean. Like even with Soul Ring on its worst day, Guff is like, I'm not winning this game. It doesn't matter if I had the Soul Ring or not. But in other decks, it's like in Anala, that's turn 1 Soul Ring into an Arcane Signet is probably turn 2 win with the right cards. Yeah, that's the way the deck's designed. Like that, the deck's just broken to begin with. But like, that's the. I mean, in a perfect world, Anala has a turn 1 win with the right mana. So like, that's what's crazy about that deck in general. But, so that's what I mean. Like, but that's consistently happening in that deck. Is same thing with Omnixilus, right? Even without the turn 1 Soul Ring, Omnixilus is trying to win the game turn 3-4. So I think that's the difference, and that's just what I mean. Like I'm just trying to highlight like where, like I said, the fact that Soul Ring doesn't fix the rest of the deck. So like just banning Soul Ring suddenly, like Anala and Omnixilus both probably get slightly worse because they're hoping to get a turn 1 Soul Ring because it just makes the job that much easier. But I can promise you that Anala is still winning turn 2 or 3 without the Soul Ring.
Yeah.
So
And like I think like even looking back at the previous game where I was playing Reki, like if I had to turn one Soul Ring into like an Emerald Medallion, I don't think I'm winning that game anyways. Like I think it's one of those things where like yeah, it's basically just kind of back to what you're saying. Like it doesn't fix the deck, and it sometimes even leads you into a trap of like, oh well, let me like keep this one land Soul Ring hand and just see what happens. Like
Sure.
I've done that sometimes, and I get super punished for it, and sometimes you don't get super punished for it. It's just like it's one of those things where you see and you're like, oh well, this hand is so good if I find like a second land,
Sure.
and then you're playing a real dangerous game.
Matt kept a 0-lander with the Soul Ring, right? That was like the
That's
infamous
insane.
Matt keep.
It was like Lotus Petal into Soul Ring or something. No, I can't even imagine Matt running a Lotus Petal, right? It was just like, oh, I'll find the land eventually.
Yeah, just hoping to draw the land. And I think it was like what, 3-4 turns before he even found the land. So like just 3-4 turns of not drawing anything. It's crazy.
Just sitting there discarding.
And that might be the crutch that Soul Ring has, right? Like people see it in their opening hand and they're like, this is what it, again, that's what the card wants to be in your opening hand. And I've also talked about this with Nassim before, but it's crazy to think because people always say like, oh, like someone so-and-so always has a turn 1 Soul Ring, so-and-so like frequently has a turn 1 Soul Ring. The highest chances of you drawing Soul Ring is in your opening hand. That's like just for the crazy math wizards out there, that's how that works, because you're drawing 7 cards versus 1 card a turn. So like you have the highest opportunity to draw Soul Ring in your opening hand. That's the highest percentage chance you have in the entirety of your deck to do it. So like turn 1 Soul Rings are not like this enigma. It's not something that's like crazy to do, which is why people include it, right? Because it's something that can happen, and so you play it for that reason. And I think that's okay. I think cards are allowed to be powerful and cards are allowed to be good, but I just think we got a little. We saw the full strength, the full ceiling of the turn 1 Soul Ring, right? In the game of Dan just showing us how it can propel a deck that normally isn't doing that stuff that early to like, now I control the game. Like I said, that like, and like I think you're right. I think that's just the inherent power of Planeswalkers. They're effectively permanents that let you cast spells a turn. Like they're like modal permanents almost of, I have 3 permanents that each cast a spell each turn, and you're casting a new one each turn. So you're just it's a compound. That's why Super Friends is so strong. That's why people hate it, because it's just the same effects of, let me control the board with my power. They're hard to remove, they're hard to kill, like you said. Eventually you just get the engine rolling, and I think that Soul Ring just kind of propelled your deck into a fast start that was just unfortunately unbeatable.
You just like, because we're not, no one's running colors that are going to do a lot of haste stuff either, or like direct burn damage. Like I assume Tyler's not running like lightning bolts and stuff in his teledeck. Like he's not going to go like, oh, like turn 2, let me just try and like do 4 damage to a planeswalker right now. Like things like that you're not going to see out of commander style versus like 60 card. You'd see burn spells or some sort of interactive type spells.
Oh, my teledeck is a lot of non-combat damage in it. A lot of.
But is it all low mana?
X spells, so I could.
I guess you're doing small.
I'm looking at it right now. Invoke the Fire Mind. I got Crackle with Power. I got
Crackle Power has 3 X's, so that's not happening anytime early.
Yeah, you need to
what the hell mana? We got 5 Molten Disaster, except that's creatures without flying and players.
Yeah,
that doesn't hit.
I got a couple. I got a couple.
No, I know. I'm sure. Like I had like 1 or 2. Yeah, you could transfer. I mean, I had like the one. I had like the one random answer. Like having an offer is actually like, I think people.
It was huge.
Because for some reason, like in my brain, it doesn't like planeswalkers are creatures. Like in my just when I'm like reading a card, I'm like, oh, I can't counter that. And then I was like, oh wait, I guess they're technically non-creature spells. So like, the offer was probably a lot stronger in that instance because like can actually stop. Yeah. So like, I think decks have answers to planeswalkers. They're not that broken, but in conjunction with all, like, it was just a perfect storm of like turn 1 Soul Ring into a Mana Rock, into great planeswalkers, into board states that my opponents don't have answers to these planeswalkers, and I just lock out the game early because I hit all those marks. And
Yeah.
So I think, again, don't think we're going to ban Soul Ring as a group, or at least as a channel. I am putting my foot down, and in person I am running the Soul Rings as long as I can until Nassim fights me on it. I guess maybe we'll concede at that point, but until then I will run them in my personal life. But I don't see a world where some of my decks do it without it. I don't know, like maybe that's just me being a bad deck builder,
hard.
according to Tyler.
It's
if
just
you're relying on a Soul Ring to make the deck work. Yeah,
I'm not saying to make the deck work. I'm saying to make the deck. It's just a good start.
Just a little, yeah. I mean, it's hard to play like big mana commanders outside of green, like I was saying earlier, like without a Soul Ring. Like, sure, you're not gonna hit it every time, and it is what it is. Yeah. I don't want to play green. I don't like the play styles of green as much. Green's fine, Recky's cool, but like there's far more fun and enjoyable things that I can do outside of green than I can do in green, because green is kind of very like typeset in the way that it wants to play.
Right. Arna works great, but Arna works so much better with the Soul Ring.
Teamer does all of the same stuff.
Teamer is everything, yeah.
Teamer does two things. Teamer does two things.
No. Teamer,
let me go down.
Draws a bunch of cards and punches you in the face. Like that's it. That's it. And it ramps. Like that's Teamer. What else does Teamer
spells? You got Spell Slinger with Calamat.
Okay, Spell Slinger and X spells are the same thing.
Ramp. You ramp into big X spells.
Yeah.
You got modal spells. You got modal spells with Riku. Ooh.
Guess what? That's Spell Slinger.
You got energy. You've got weird stuff tribal with loot.
You're just making this stuff up.
Yeah. Loot is card draw. And all right, Tyler. Just because you got
Gimbal, Gremlin Prodigy, he's artifacts. Come on.
Okay, does Teamer have commanders doing different things? Yes, but the decks are all designed to ramp big.
The decks play in a very similar way.
Is it with green? They're all is it with green?
It's ramp.
They're all is it with green?
It's ramp and cast a bunch of spells.
How is that? Is it with green? I'm not spell slinging there. I'm playing.
You're spell slinging. You're spell slinging the baddies.
Ramp all of your.
No other deck in the existence of the world is spell slinging dragons like Miram.
I'm gonna pull it out next time.
How many times do you ramp in Miram? How many times do you ramp in Miram? How many ramp spells do you have?
Ramp spells. Let's see.
The same amount that you do in all your other decks, right?
I run 10 to 12 in every single deck.
10 to 12 ramp.
And buy one Soul Ring.
That's in everything. That's like.
Because you run green and everything, right? So your Miram deck is ramping.
In my Guff deck, I'm running 10 to 12 pieces. In my Tela deck, I'm running more because I want more mana.
You're running 10 to 12 rocks in your Guff deck? That's insane.
What are you counting ramp?
Let's see.
Name them off.
I got 10. I have Signet, the Arcane Signet, the other 3 Signets, the 3 Talismans, Fellwar Stone, and then Misleading Signposts.
What do you mean by the other 3?
Signets? Oh, and Honor Worn Shaku.
Signet, Boros Signet, and the third one. The bad.
Are you running
slow Signets? Or whatever you want to call
Thought Vessel and like Fellwar Stone, all those 2, yeah.
Fellwar, yeah, but no Thought Vessel because that's colorless.
God forbid. That's crazy.
I do have one colorless thing, but that's because it can make a lot. Honor Worn Shaku because you can tap Planeswalkers.
Yeah,
tap it.
I mean, Shaku's really good in that deck.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So yeah,
see, that's what's why not just run the Soul Ring?
Because it's dumb.
Clearly not. We just saw it. We just saw it dominate in the very deck that you're running.
Me cast Guff.
Yes, it does.
Use your colors for Guff.
Only do if you gets at least 2 colorless in the commander cost.
That's crazy.
Hey?
That
is a wild.
I've seen a lot of people have that argument. A lot of people have that argument of like if it doesn't.
That's not why I do it.
No, I know, but you're not. I've seen that people make argument, but oh my god, I just had a stroke. I've seen people make that argument before of like if it doesn't help me cast my commander, I don't run it. And it's like, what if your deck doesn't? What if you get? Your deck should be doing stuff other than that.
Yeah. Like, Well, I'll give a little sneak peek because I think next week I want to try and play Shadow. I just finished brewing it today, and Shadow is black, black, red, red. No, it's not. It's not Storm Shadow. It's not like make a bunch of treasures and storm off. It's a different take on Shadow, but it is like Shadow is black, black, red, red, and I still put Soul Ring in the deck because so many of the other cards that I have in the deck have colorless symbols in their casting cost. So why would I
Here.
not?
Let me give this to you. Tyler's gonna hate this, by the way, Dan. But let me pitch this, Tyler. Soul Ring helps you cast Cultivate and Kodama's Reach
A turn earlier.
a turn earlier. How crazy is that?
Or I play Ancient Tomb instead.
But it takes a damage every time you use it.
Listen, we saw
Pay your
Ancient Tomb
taxes.
on this channel.
Yeah, Dan showed us the power of Ancient Tomb, and
Yeah,
didn't you have
Ancient Tomb kind of good?
you had like one other thing that was like pinging you for some reason. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, I most likely did. I just have.
Or maybe you just fetched. It was like somehow you fetched every turn and had Ancient Tomb, and
I
it was
think
like,
it was.
oh,
Yeah, it was like. I think it was like a talisman or something too. It was probably like a
and you had to
talisman
keep
that I
using
needed the
it.
colors for. Yeah, it was something like that where I was just like.
I don't think Tyler was in that game.
It's not all bad. Was he not? I thought he was.
I don't think
When
so.
I played Nico.
No, that was like I'm pretty sure Dan was at like 20 life on turn 4.
Yeah, I burned through my life so fast it was insane.
I think I don't remember. Either way, it was funny.
No, you're playing Amanatu.
Yeah. That
No,
deck is gone.
That's why I don't remember, because that ass
Yeah,
deck.
you were. But you get Wept Walking now. You can play Wept Walking.
I love casting
The new
Miracle.
enchantment.
Tyler doesn't read the card. You can't say the name.
Anyways, leave a comment down below if he wants to do a set review. That'd be pretty cool. 2 videos in 1 week.
This late when the set comes out on Friday?
It's coming out this Friday?
Yes,
yeah, pre-release
this weekend.
No, I'm in Ohio.
Yeah. There's no time between sets. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I feel like
Final Fantasy has just settled, and we're already into Edge. Yeah. We're already ready to Edge, boys.
I'm pretty sure there's gonna be boxes for me to get, so I don't think.
I already pre-ordered mine. I would love to get those Ancient Tombs. God, they look so good.
Ancient Tomb, better than Soul Ring, according to Tyler.
Yep. Two life means
nothing. Your first,
format.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start playing Land Destruction. Krenko's Buzzwalker. Come on.
Do it. I put Strip Mine in every one of my decks.
Well, that doesn't strip.
No, I don't actually put Strip Mine in my decks.
It just destroys a non-basic and it lets you fetch a basic, so it's not Land Destruction.
It's like the new version of Land Destruction. They print a lot of that where they let you blow up a land, but you can get one back, or you get a basic in return, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, if we were like a Cradle meta or stupid ridiculous lands,
I play more basics than everybody else. You just don't see them because I don't need them.
Yeah. How many basics do you run in your 5-color deck?
I don't have a 5-color deck.
I have Terra and I have 2 Force, just so I can summon Fenrir.
I'm gonna start playing Blood Moon actually.
Yes. I thought about putting Blood Moon in Shadow.
That's going to seem so many times that he cried.
I remember him calling me and having those conversations about it. It was so funny.
Is snow-covered lands considered basics?
Yeah, you can fetch them off of a Rampant Growth.
Let me see here. How many basics am I running? I also run way more lands than Tyler does in general, so
34.
Yeah, that's the right number. 34.
What?
But the problem is Tyler runs 10 to 12 pieces of artifact or ramp. I run 34 and I only run 7 maybe.
Yeah. I'm at 30. I'm at 38.
That's great. Yeah, I'm do I really need this Thought Vessel? I can have a cooler card instead.
Is it crazy? Who has the most wins on the channel? I think I do.
No one asked, all right?
Listen,
38 lands is too much. Well,
it is too much.
Yeah, but I run the 38 lands to have the consistent number in my opening hand.
Yeah, just draw better or play a low curve. I think the reason that I do that though is I'm very conscientious of my deck's curve. like when I'm doing my cuts and like final edits and stuff, like I'm actively making sure that like everything is in the like 2 to 3 range. With like the higher upside, but like I like to shift my curve a lot lower.
Sure. It just I don't for me it's
But
hard. I'm not as much of a curve watcher as some people are, but
I love my curves. What can I say?
you know what
That's
really
one to
helps
stay
the
off the list.
you know what
You
really
definitely
helps the
saved me
curve?
from this.
Not running board
Lord.
wipes. Those 8 mana things.
True.
Yeah, that also
No.
helps curve when you run Soul Ring.
On that note,
Let us know what you
Join
guys
us-
think about this game. It was definitely a game of all
Yeah.
time.
Would you
and let us
ban
know what
Soul
you guys
Ring
think
after
about
watching
these.
Dan do what he did?
No, don't do it. I need it, please.
he's being put on administrative leave for the next week. You will not be seeing him in
Alright.
the next video.
Well, I guess I will not be playing Shadow next week. I'll be playing Shadow some other week.
And not the week after that, because that's going to be our Edge of the Eternities video.
I'm not even in that one. That's crazy.
They don't
you are.
they don't want it.
Oh, you're not. Sorry. Or are you?
Damn. I don't know.
Are you on the schedule? Check the schedule.
I-
Everyone,
on
you're
the
getting a
schedule.
peek at our inner workings. I'm the
I
schedule
mean, Peyton
master.
just cut all this out anyways.
Yeah.
No,
I'm actually
leave it
just
in.
gonna
The
edit
master
just me.
must know.
That's right.
All right, guys, we're gonna leave. You have to. You're being demanded to. You have to leave a comment. Do you want
Legally obligated.
A, ooh, tech, B, ooh, podcast type style video, or C, lots
More
of
shorts of Tyler being an idiot. I mean, Tyler
yeah.
making
That's gonna
questionable
come with time.
Yeah, we're doing that
But-
regardless, but
Or just more videos of
gameplay.
our games.
Let us know.
legally obligated. Let us know down there.
Yeah, if there's not an equal amount of comments to views, watch out.
I'm calling the cops.
Watch out.
In Minecraft.
And yeah,
Yeah.
the Kool-Aid
Alrighty.
Man's gonna come busting through your walls.
All right, Tyler, you gotta like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, like and subscribe.